all these cameras. Find your camera, Braxton.
Right there, I think.
You're right there.
It's looking right at me.
What's up, people of Facebook, people of YouTube, people out there? Are we on LinkedIn too? I don't think so. Do you have a LinkedIn?
I don't think I do.
I don't have a LinkedIn either.
You have your old one.
Yeah, people find me on there all the time. They're really disappointed I'm not working in the oil field. I actually got that LinkedIn to get a job and got a job getting before LinkedIn was known as social media, it was just a place to put your resume.
People could look you up.
Guys, if you're not watching on YouTube right now, please go over to YouTube, watch there, subscribe, like, comment, all that. Braxton, what do you think about this whole real estate market?
It's going a little weird.
Define weird.
We're not selling anything really.
How's that work?
Well, we buy it to where we can rent.
Yeah.
We just kind of start throwing tenants in there.
Dude, it's savage. I feel bad if it when COVID started, there was a bunch of people that were picking investment strategies like winners and losers. So everybody was kind of ha-haing at everybody else's strategy. They were picking on the Airbnb guys real hard during COVID. They were like, "Oh, if you were an Airbnb investor, you're probably going bankrupt. You're probably having a bad time." All of that. Now I don't know of one investment strategy out there that's probably not suffering. At least some. I think landlords probably have it the best right now. I think renewals are up. Rents are definitely up. I mean, heck, we're running numbers. Looking at a house in Waco. So we bought it for $140,000. Would have probably renegotiated, but the guy was dying and there just wasn't enough time. It's in a good neighborhood, but it's in like a what kind of comps do you get on that?
I mean, we were right at the most that we could probably pay, like mid 190s, 200.
Oh, that's all the comps are worth?
I don't know. I mean, in that street, flip right across the street, wasn't that only like 205 or something?
Braxton's completely lost on this. Fuck no, it wasn't 205.
There are expensive houses close by, but not necessarily same thing that we got.
Braxton, that's a $300,000 neighborhood. Like, you're making me nervous. Like, you got us buying 190 houses at 140. Have you even done the math on that? What if you truly put us on a 140 house and said comps were 190, and keeping in mind that this house needs 15 to 20 to get it to 190? Do you realize how bad of a deal that is? That won't even pay the closing costs when we get ready to sell it.
But that's as is. I mean, are you talking after repair, flip Taj Mahal?
I'm talking the most the property can be worth.
Whole lot more than
what number?
Yeah, 300's in.
300. We're not going to do that. We're not in that marketplace. So whenever I ran the numbers to look, okay, let's take this. So we bought it for 140. Let's do floors and paint. Let's do very small rehab, and see, where this thing shakes out at. And we're at like 215 or 220 is where we could sell it at. It was, going to be kind of sketch there, but that's still $80,000 off of the market. Then I ran the PITI on it. Do you remember what we got?
I don't.
It was $2,300 a month. I was floored. I was flabbergasted. It was the very first time that I actually did math in this new 7% interest rate market, and I just didn't imagine that it would be that bad. And the taxes are a big variable because right now that property is on the tax roll for like 90, but it's not going to stay there. They're going to reappraise it and try to get it up. And so you got to underwrite the taxes as if they're going to go what you're going to sell it for. And so that's $6,000 a year in taxes. This property was it just fell apart quick. So then I pulled rental comps, and the rental comps were shocking. So the rental comps, $1,800 a month, probably could get up to $2,000 a month, but 18 is probably realistic, but 15 is worst case scenario, or 15, probably 1,600 worst case scenario. And guys, this deal was I was just like, oh man. So what strategy do you think we're going to employ on this one?
We already got it cleaned up. No showings.
No, it's getting showings. It's gotten offers.
It's just too much work.
No. They've thought it was priced right for the condition it was in, is the feedback. It's actually gotten probably 6 or 7 showings. It's gotten 3 offers. But they're just savages out there. We got an $80,000 offer on that house.
Strong offer.
I was like, that's my bro.
I'd make that offer.
I,
You would
I,
make that offer.
I couldn't even be mad at him. I was just like, yeah, we'll take that for a down payment and carry the rest. I mean, I got a counter. Like, so if you're going to offer me 80 cash, I'm like, I'll take that as a down payment, tote the note for you. I'll even give you a good interest rate. I'll give you better interest rates than you can get anywhere else on planet Earth right now if you'll take this problem off my hand at my $215,000 price. So yeah, we've gotten offers, nothing that we could accept. It's just kind of there. It'll keep showing. We'll keep receiving offers. We'll keep, and another thing we're doing is when we get that offer on it, we're telling them about 2 other properties. So we're telling them, great, we got one in that price at that price point in McGregor, and we got one at that price point in Walnut Springs. Which one do you want? So it's kind of like if you're not doing this, if as a real estate agent, you're getting an offer in right now and you're not telling them about your other listings, you're absolutely crazy, because there's not that many buyers in the marketplace. Not a lot of showings, definitely not a lot of offers. It's been really tough. So what else have you seen? Have you been, I know you don't really do the dispo side of things, but you've been in our meetings. What things have surprised you?
I think how kind of all of a sudden everything stopped.
It was all of a sudden.
I mean, because it seemed like things were still going hot. It still had quite a few contracts or offers coming through, and then it was just like nothing.
And that is what happened in that moment. To me, is you had a whole bunch of rate lock people, bunch of people that were tied in, had a rate lock, and they had to place it. So it was like
the last batch of people,
yeah, with that 4%, 3% interest rate, were placing that on real estate, and they knew they were going to lose it if they didn't place it, and so they had to
buy something.
It was like having a 1031 exchange that was going to expire. So it forced their hand. That's why, we've got a contract on a lot, and I was like, oh yeah, they're not going anywhere. They got a rate lock. They're putting a mobile home on it. They know what they're up against. If they go shopping again, if they try to go find something else, they're going to get a rate increase. So, we've got one person tied into that right now, but we only have 4 properties under contract for sale. 2 of them are owner finance. 2 of them are one of them's cash. Another one's conventional. We did get an offer that we can't accept on a property we stretched on when we bought it. Do you remember when we bought Willis Way?
I think it was towards the end of the summer last year.
So
probably a little less than a year, I think.
You think we've owned that a year? It was rented when we bought it. So
yeah, well, because that took several months.
To what?
To get them out.
Actually, no, they left and didn't tell us they left. It's a terrible story on our end, but the previous owner was still collecting their rent. Anyways, doesn't really matter. They were living there, and we had to go through a long eviction process because it's down by Austin. But we're about to reset that market. So that property was a $300,000 property. When we bought it for $175,000. It's a $300,000 property, mobile home on an acre, San Marcos, Texas. Great area to own real estate in. And market shifted. We stretched on that one. So that one broke my rules of $150,000 or less. We stretched on it, went 175. And anyways, when we finally got it on the market, we put it out for 275. It got a ton of showings. For the condition it was in, it got no offers. And finally we just ran the math and said, what's the least amount we could take for this? We dropped it down to 230 and then got a 210 cash offer. So when we got a 210 cash offer, I ran the numbers yesterday. We're sitting there in the meeting, and it's like, we'll squeeze out a couple of grand on this if they'll pay closing costs, if we don't prorate taxes. And the sad part about that is what, Braxton? When we take that offer and it closes, what's going to happen?
I mean, make $1,000.
I'm not talking about us.
What about it?
What's going to happen to the neighborhood?
Oh, it's going to take it.
Yeah, all that $300,000 comps that were out there, they're gone. The only comp that's going to matter in the entire neighborhood for any appraiser is going to be
us.
that $210,000, 2,200 square foot house that sold, 4-bed, 3-bath. It's just gonna crater it. It's just going to take that neighborhood all the way down to the 200 mark. And that's what people are up against right now. If you're in a marketplace right now and you're going on yesterday's comps, and one person takes one of these gut shot offers that a lot of people would be better off taking, your comps, your property is going to instantly lost a ton of value there. So could happen to you. I don't know. What do you think going forward? What do you think the move is?
Think just keep buying our price point to where we can rent it, given the high interest rate in mind. Like what you've always said is, if you're underwriting at 12% interest only, it's going to be hard to miss on that one.
It is, until you got to pay principal at 12% too.
That's true. If it's 12% interest,
you're like, then you add a little principal on there, and you're like, damn, this still broke.
All right, we're buying at 15% interest only underwriting.
Yeah. You ran a loan out the other day. So we loan money. For those of you that don't know, we have a hard money lending arm. You can go to roughneck2realestate.com, roughneck, the number 2 realestate.com. If you're in Texas, we can loan you money up to 100% of purchase price and rehab. We're kind of down in that 60% ARV range right now. We're no longer doing 70% at this juncture because we think there is a correction coming. And the tertiary market's going to be a little harder, but you're doing a long-term loan. Got all their information in. It's in Hillsboro, Texas, not a big market. And the very first thing you told me was, hey, I got this quote back. What was the interest rate on the very first quote?
I think 10.99 for the first one.
On 30-year money, it was 10.99. I think it was 10.25, 10.25.
Maybe.
But that was with a 650 credit score, and that's that non-QM, DSCR, all the investor loans that everybody was closing on 6 months ago that were in the 6s, is now at the 10. Once you got their credit score back, it's like a 760 credit score.
Dropped it to 899. So
now it's at 899, but 899 30-year AM is the exact same PI as a 7%. 7.5% 20-year AM. So you don't save a lot of money on debt service there. As a matter of fact, you lose a lot of principal pay down by going with the 30-year money. But one good thing about it is you had that loan amount at like 130 as well.
Yeah, so he'll be able to pull out quite a bit.
Yeah. So and then the PI-TI, if I remember correctly, or the PI was only $1,100 a month. Was about $1,100 a month.
I think a little bit less.
And then he has a tenant ready to go at what, 1,900. So, I mean, you can see what happened to rents. That property probably would have only rented for $1,600 a month 6-7 months ago. Now it's $1,900 a month. Why? I mean, you can't buy. You can't go buy something at this juncture. You're not going to. So there's a lot more renters in that marketplace looking at that property. And it's still going to cash flow. I mean, that's the amazing part of that to me, is that even if he would have had to refinance it at the 10.25 with taxes and insurance, he would have been making like $400 a month, which is fucking amazing. With the lower refinance amount, which I think he's about 90,000 is his cost basis.
Said about right under 100. So
with the lower loan amount and the lower interest rate, I mean, he's going to be cash flowing real good, probably $500 or $600 a month. So kind of amazing. What else have you seen? You talk to a lot of sellers. How's that going?
Yeah. I mean, every time I'm on the phone with them, I'm laying it on them, like, here's where I got to be where I'm at. And I mean,
why do you have to be there?
Interest rates are going up. The cost to fix stuff is expensive. I'm not sure what the bank's willing to loan on. I'm afraid that they're not going to loan on this because it's a mobile home. I'm just going to be too drawn out on it.
Yeah. And how do they respond when you tell them all that?
I mean, that's pretty much understand it. It's just the still the same objection that I'm always getting is why I can't find any place to live for that amount. That's never necessarily an objection to the price. It's I can't find somewhere else for that.
And that will be helped. This person, this offer that we got yesterday, that $210,000 offer is a contingent offer. It's a contingent cash offer on their property selling. So it seems that person is selling one and they have a limited amount of funds to place into the next property. Maybe they need a bigger property. Maybe they need a smaller property. Maybe they're, I don't know, getting closer. There are still, in every real estate market, there's going to be people who do have to move. That work moves them. They get laid off. They want to get closer to grandkids. There's always going to be people that have to move. So there's going to be people that feel like they have to buy. They don't have to buy necessarily. They could rent, but there are going to be people that have to sell. Once the marketplace catches up, the sellers catch up, they'll realize that, hey, I'm not going to get yesteryear's prices. And at least in core areas, they will. In non-core areas and tertiary markets, they won't. And they'll come back to reality. Have they started checking back into reality, or are they still thinking that this is the hottest real estate market known?
I haven't seen that as much. I don't think so. Maybe just because they haven't looked into it though.
Yeah, I mean, that when you're making your offers, you gotta be hard in that ass. You gotta be like, hey guys, interest rates, this, that. I mean, you have to talk about everything that's going on. I mean, what else is going on in the world? Price of gas, OPEC. You hear it in the news, all that negativity. They're getting bombarded with it all day. They already know it exists. They already know that Russia's acting up. They know that, Ukraine's acting up. They know that all these other things are going on. So you got to remind them of that on your negotiations. Say, hey, look, I'm buying something. I'm trying to rent it out. Now with the extra cost of money and the uncertainty in the market, the uncertainty in the world politics, this is the price I got to be at. I can't take the extra risk that I could 6 or 7 months ago. Do you think it's worth selling anything at a loss right now?
I think if you can afford to put a tenant in something and you have financing that can roll with it, if it breaks even, it breaks even, but you're looking at a long-term play.
Okay. So you open your horizon.
But it just come down to if you can keep it on that money long enough.
Yeah. I mean, so what would you do to make sure that you could? What are you doing? What are you doing on Thursday?
Meeting with another bank. Try to refinance my apartments out in Longview.
Yeah.
Get ahead of that before they keep going up, before they start pumping the brakes.
Before banks quit lending.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest worry that I have in our business. What we're going to do to mitigate that moving forward is we're going to take our private money, people that we have private money with right now, and we're going to switch them over to probably 90 to 85% owners. Going to switch it over to a fund of sorts and give them ownership to where whenever we buy a property, all three of our exits are on the table, but we're not burdened by debt. One, it's going to clean up our books for what we're trying to do in our refinances, because we're not going to be sitting here holding $4 million in debt that's idle. Okay. Idle debt that doesn't have a tenant that's paying that debt for you. By idle debt, I mean something like a flip, something like a hotel, something that doesn't have any cash flow coming in. So having $4 million worth of idle debt on your books right now, it's came up, even though it's in a separate company. When they look at your global assets, they look over here, and that company has made more than enough money to service that debt. They still don't care. They see the idle debt and they're like, what is all this? It makes banks nervous. So to get that debt off, we're going to start a fund, switch the private money over to where they have equity now. Some of them will want to do it, some of them won't, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like we can't stay in this environment. We have to shift what we're doing to where it's what's in our best interest, which means that we will refinance everybody out right now, all the private money. But the next round, when we deploy it, you're going to have to take ownership with us. We're going to be partners. We'll deploy that money. We will try to sell it. We will try to owner finance it. And if it doesn't go, we will rent it out just like we always do. And we'll pay quarterly dividends. And we'll just turn our entire business into a fund, essentially. But we won't be burdened by debt. We won't be taxed and held back in our own refinances in this model. And the other thing is that if, say, next summer or next spring, they start lowering interest rates back down because they don't like that we're in a recession, and properties appreciate and they explode again, they go back up to 2022 values or spring 2022 values, the private money people, I mean, they'll see some weird return. I don't know what it'll look like. What do you like the way that we buy? I mean, like look at a property that $5,000 mobile home in Granbury that's now selling for 42.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was in yesterday's market, would have sold for 110. I mean, if you're invested into that and you own 85 or 90% of it, like, I mean, how does that return look on paper?
Looks pretty. It's a big jump.
It's a big jump. It's massive. But in the intern, it's a longer horizon. If we have to rent that out for a year and a half or 2 years, one, we're not pressed to refinance it. Two, we're not pressed to sell it in a market that it isn't best to sell it in. We can ride it out for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it takes.
How hard is that to replace? Something like that, a $5,000 mobile home. It's like,
dude, it's yeah.
Won't find a whole bunch of them.
And for 15, that thing would have been fancy. And the reason why we sold it as soon as it went vacant, the only reason we sold it is we wanted to test the bottom of the market. I wanted to take a $150,000 mobile home, list it for 45 and see what happens. That was it. And when we bought it under real weird circumstances. Some people were like, why would somebody sell it for nothing? Well, the reason why was because it had a bunch of title issues. We had to go solve those title issues. So we just stroked the dude a check and went and solved the title issues. Once we had title issues solved, now we have something that we can sell. I mean, it's a good deal, but even then we listed it for 45 and we accepted a $42,000 offer. It showed probably 20 times. And keep in mind, this is like a legit 150 neighborhood. This is by the lake. A lot of stuff is sold there. And anyways, showed 20 times, got one offer. Crazy how the market just disappeared. And people are like, oh no, it hasn't. I'm like, all right, man, I agree. The one person I know that I trust, that I actually believe is Austin Ingram. You see his payoffs coming through.
Mm-hmm. Paid off some either yesterday or Friday.
Yeah,
he's still selling stuff. He's still slinging and banging.
He got 70 offers on one of his. I'm like, Austin, it sounds like you had it priced too low. And he goes, no. And that was the other interesting thing. So he got 70 offers.
Mm-hmm.
He said only 8 of them were at or above asking. So he got 70 gut shot below asking offers on it, and only 60 or 62, whatever, and like 8 of them were above. So I mean, he priced it pretty much, I would guess, perfectly, but it elicited a response from the marketplace. So I mean, if you got good product in a nice area, which I think I wish I knew where that was, somewhere in San Antonio or Canyon Lake area.
We won't dox where he's at, but I mean, every single deal that he's had, he's like, it's hot. People want to be here,
dude. He does buy, but
in them good spots.
Austin goes in there like
he's asked us not to go in there. He said, please don't mark it because I don't.
But we don't market there. I mean, we really don't but I don't. I mean, he just does really well. And they have a construction company, so they do really good rehabs for a lot less than what regular people can.
But for the most part, he still is following wholesale. I mean, they'll go in, they'll clean, they'll get the trash out, but they don't remodel a whole bunch.
He's just got them.
Very, very rarely does he go in and,
Actually, he's in Laredo. He's flipping houses in Laredo. That's where he's at. So if y'all are going to go try to steal my boys' deals, market in Laredo. But no, he does really well. Yeah. He's the only one. Anybody else that is saying it, I see too many emails. I see too many price adjustments. I see too much nonsense in the marketplace right now to believe a lot of people are having uber amounts of success at doing much of anything. I think some people are still able to assign to a core group of buyers, but I think overall, a lot of buyers left the marketplace. They're trying to time the market. Their lender dried up, or they don't feel good about it at all. They don't want to be landlords. They want to do flips. And since they don't feel good about their prospect of flipping, they're not in the marketplace right now. So what else would you advise people? I mean, you got your rental portfolio. Where y'all at on Snyder? You got what, 10 units out there, 9 units out there?
Mm-hmm.
When do y'all start the refi on it?
We're still not even at 5 units rented out yet.
Damn.
I mean, they're the units are nice. It's just there's been getting interest, but no one's qualified.
What if you wanted to refi it? Would
get them in there no matter what and be that problem once we're on long-term financing?
Yeah, we've done that. A lease up. So we've done a lease up on a 30-unit apartment complex, and I regret this is the mistake we made. So when we did a lease up on our 32-unit apartment complex, we went in and, like what he said, we opened up what was acceptable to get it leased up, but we signed every single person to a 12-month lease, which is essentially like college housing, like student housing. Student housing, you have what's called turn. So all the students move in at the same time. They all move out at the same time. And you've got 2 weeks before the next batch of students is coming in, and you've got to make ready all those apartments. It's very expensive, but at least in student housing, they're sitting there waiting. What we did to ourselves on that lease up was we leased 30 units, and at the end, we had them all on 12-month leases. 12 months later, we lost half of them. We didn't get but a 50% renewal rate. So the property's in 50% occupied all over again. We should have done 9, 10, 11, 12-month leases to where those would have dominoed over a course of time.
Always a little bit of space.
Not all dominoed at once. I've seen smaller landlords out there talk about how they only sign all of their leases expire at the exact same time. And I'm like, that's how I know you're small. I know you're small because if you've got 10 units to turn or whatever, and you want those leases to expire at the same time, I guess that's good. I guess it helps you out, whatever. But I don't ever like, I'd rather do a 9-month lease going forward when we have a lease up like that. Whenever we do a lease up, and we did it in Hillsboro on 20 units as well, but those kind of came online staggered. So it wasn't like in Coleman,
because I guess they're still turning units there.
So. Yeah. So in Coleman, we did a building at a time, and then we got the final approval for all the buildings at once. So we couldn't stagger them out. We just basically had, I think, 24 units sitting there all the way vacant, and we went to leasing up. So kind of shot ourselves in the foot there. We could have staggered it out. Wish I would have learned that lesson a little sooner. What else you got going on, Braxton?
Man, I am happy to think like my fourplex, they're still trying to schedule closing.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy to kind of get everything mostly all refied. It'd just be Longview will be the last one, bigger one.
Yeah, you'll have Bracketville, whatever that is, your little condo.
You got to figure out what to. I wonder if same bank will go there.
Happy? Happy will go there. I bet you Happy's got a branch there. If not, you can call anybody in Bracketville.
I don't know if there's anything in Bracketville.
Here's the lesson. This is a strong lesson. We bought 123 acres for $140,000 recently, and we it's a partnership deal where they wanted to use our private money, so we took title of it. We used our private money to do it, but they don't want to list it on the open market. They're trying to sell it by texting local agents. Okay. Who changes the market? Who sets the market? Who changes the market? Who makes the market appreciate and go up in value?
Outsiders.
Locals will never change the market. They never will. The perceived value of a local, and I'm guilty of it just as well. Whenever I'm in my hometown, I've got a natural bias to what stuff was selling for 10 years ago because I saw it sell. I saw that deal and it sold for $40,000, and that still means everything is worth $40,000.
It's like what you talked about with the lake.
It's exactly
going around Lake Limestone.
Lake Limestone, the first time I had a chance to get into that marketplace, houses were $40,000. The second time they were $150,000. The third time they were $300,000. When I went and shopping this time, they were $400,000. I was like, guys, I'm going to get in at $400,000. I'm going to get in at $400,000 because 10 years from now or 20 years from now, there'll be $1 million, and I would still be thinking, oh yeah, stuff's still worth 40. You know what I mean? Oh no, I wouldn't pay no more than 150 for that. Well, that doesn't matter because a guy from Houston is going to come out there and just stroke a check for whatever he wants so he can go down there twice a year and hang out with the fam. You know what I mean? A guy from New York's going to come in and say, I'll pay whatever for it because it don't matter. It's pocket change. It's a tax write-off. He's buying for a completely different set of parameters. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Same way with this land. You can text all the local agents you want. You can text them till you're blue in the face. They will not be the person that will sell this property most likely. And if they do sell it, they won't sell it for maximum amount of dollars because the local farmer or rancher or whoever's looking for 123 acres isn't going to be willing to pay what somebody from California or New York would be for a hunting ranch or whatever they're going to put it as out there on the lake. Is that TikToks? TikToks. Go to YouTube, bro. Find us on the YouTubes, Roughneck Real Estate. If you're on Facebook, go to YouTube and find us.
We got commenting. Can't even see.
I got the comments. The new Common Core math. Good books on the ground info. I don't know what good books on the ground, boots on the ground info. I can't read it either, Braxton.
I don't remember what it was referenced to. I see Kevin's name because it's bold, but I don't know what he said.
He said the new Common Core math. Somebody else. Kevin, we closed on. Did we close on that deal?
Yeah. Yes. Last week
we closed on that deal we had for you. We're going to split it with you still since we promised it to you, but I mean that'll be a good one. What did we buy that one for?
100. I don't remember.
100.
Sounds right.
We definitely bought it for 100.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just don't remember.
Actually, your memory's not as good as
contract.
It used to be.
A lot of properties.
I don't remember the name of the town. It's Horseshoe Bay.
No, Kingsland.
I
can remember addresses, but the price can't do it.
So we're in Kingsland, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
$100,000.
That's a cool little town. 2,300
square foot, 2,200 square foot. How big is it?
It was a long trailer. I think it was over 2,000.
It's well over 2,000. It's a big boy. It needs skirting. Probably have to do that.
A little bit of flooring.
The flooring's already in it though, so we just need somebody.
I guess it just needs flooring laid.
Yeah, it needs flooring installed
there.
And then we'll list that thing back out. Probably 160, 170 range. Legit $200,000, 300, 250. Comps are a little weird in there. Square footage, it could go 250, but we don't care. We're gonna list it 160, 170. If we reset the market, we reset the market. Hopefully it'll sell quickly. I don't know though. So real estate state of the union right now, flipping houses is very difficult. I was thinking that we would go back to a 90-day market, a 60-day market, something like that, but not getting any showings. I mean, in core areas we get showings, but I mean, putting a house on the market and having it out on the market for 3 weeks and getting 5 showings is rough. I don't think I've ever experienced it. I don't think the entire time I've been in real estate, we've never had that sort of just pause knocked in the marketplace. And I don't know when it comes back. I assume that it'll pick up naturally. I mean, it's kind of got two negatives going. Interest rates killed it, and the time of year it always slows down now. It always slows down right now, and it'll stay slow till after the first of the year. So with those two things going, kind of ends up a little weird. What you been doing, Sohail?
Trying to get on your Instagram, say we're live.
Oh,
see if I could do both Instagram and TikTok. I don't think so.
Oh, that old Insta, bro. Insta hates us. My Insta ain't popping. It ain't good. You don't have enough hot girls.
Roughneck Real Estate be DMing me all the time on Instagram.
Does it?
Like a couple a day, it seems like.
For what?
It just sends me reels.
Does it?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
It does. Like a lot.
Why?
I don't know.
On Instagram. Who's in charge of my Instagram?
I got one 45 minutes ago.
It's you. You're tagged in it.
These aren't tags. I get notified when I'm tagged. These are DM'd.
Who DMs you on my Insta?
Because I
did you sign up for some DMs?
Comments in a post tagged in. Like it's all you in there. We're all Roughneck.
So even with a massive spam campaign going, apparently, we still can't get any traction on Instagram. That's terrible. I don't know how Instagram works. Austin Ingram's got a big following on Instagram, but I think he showed a lot of cleavage to get that. You know what I mean? That hairy man butter.
That was all of it.
Yeah, it's a little weird, you know what I mean? But it's whatever you want to do, Austin, in your spare time. So what else? Braxton, what's the move? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna do this thing?
Just keep buying deeper, buy to where we can rent and start our fund and not worry about buying with debt. Worry about just buying to win.
We're just gonna buy the win. You gonna hit up your boy when you go to lunch with him and see if he wants to be in on that fund?
I can bring it up to him.
Damn.
I'm always afraid
Who's fidgeting?
it's definitely
Braxton,
you.
you're shaking the camera.
That's
like
my
crazy.
bad.
Braxton,
Yes.
you're being tagged.
I just got
No.
I'm tagged. These are DMs in here.
No, you're being tagged.
And then they DM to me?
You got
It DMs you that
you've
you were
offended
tagged.
Margot. You've offended Margot.
Margo's sliding into my DMs via Roughnecks Real Estate.
Hey, that's not a bad. That's a good problem to have. That, I mean, the funny part is that I don't know if we're still live on TikTok, but
We are.
yeah, I've been noticing I've been DMing some people on TikTok, and I ain't been DMing nobody on TikTok.
They respond?
Yeah, they're responding, and then I go in there and it's Ryan or somebody like hitting them up for podcasts. And I'm like, dang. I was like, I wonder if people think they're talking to me, you know what I mean? But so it's like real polite and well spoken and typed right, you know. And then they get to me and they're like, whoa, this guy don't talk clear and coherent English. So, anyways,
We're exposing you. You're just putting it on for the camera behind the scenes.
yeah, I don't know, man. Go to YouTube. I don't know. I don't know how we're doing. Find us on YouTube. We say a lot more stuff on there.
Did you see Kevin saying Kingsland and 100K?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
He remembers better than I do.
Well, he knew he was trying to buy it. So, anyways, yeah, we got it done. So, what else? We're gonna do the fund. I put the number at $3.5 million. $3.5 million raise. Then I talked to the guy that does our fund, and he said, if you're gonna do it, why not do 10 million? And I do feel like 10 million is a nice number, but do you think we could place $10 million worth of capital in a reasonable amount of time?
Just spends the marketing budget, I guess.
Well, we got a marketing budget, but
You know, it's like with enough money, I think, yeah, we can find a place. And it's also a level of effort. Like if we're looking for $10 million worth of deals.
yeah, but I'm just like, if we do between 3.5 and 5 million, that's the typical amount of real estate we buy in a short amount of time anyways. So, you know, I would say get that placed, and then if you wanted to do more, you'd go raise another fund.
Additional call or whatever.
No, not to those people. Just start
New fund.
Whole new fund. Just do number one, and then if it goes well and you get it placed quickly, then do number two. Do a follow up, and if everybody's happy with it, if they got more funds they can put in. But also said that we got to do accredited investors only because we can talk about returns or whatever. I don't know the rules around that. Maybe we've already violated those rules. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. The legal part of that is why I don't, but I feel like I know that we already have that much private capital right now. I mean, we've given $1.5 million back to one guy. And so that's our first person that we're going to go ask and say, hey, do you want to go do this with us? You know, and then outsiders, I don't know that we'll have to step outside of our core group. Do you think we'll have to?
For $3.5 million, it's definitely there.
Yeah, it's there. I mean, I don't think we'll have to go outside of our core group, but some people don't want ownership. Some people only want to structure it as debt. So that'll be an objection that we'll have to overcome. You know, you definitely in the coming, if we truly are going to see a correction, you're going to want to figure out how to buy real estate over the next year. You're going to want to figure this out very, very quickly. You're going to want to find people that do have money, and you're going to get them to believe in you enough to loan it to you or partner with you on deals. Because if we do have a correction, okay, how long do you think the buying opportunity will be? I think we're already in a correction and we're already seeing buying opportunities, but how long do you think, what's the window? Do you think it's 6 months? Do you think it's a year?
I don't know how to put a number on that, but I mean, something else will have to give. Something else will have to change. Start going back the other way, you know?
Yeah. All that takes is interest rates going down.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's like, that's what I mean. It's like, I can't
now
give a guess.
If it is a short amount of time, and I just don't think the politicians have a stomach to keep it depressed. I don't think they have the stomach to do it, to drive us into a multi-year recession. I just don't think they do. I think they'll crack the whip on the Fed and get them to lower rates way before they put us into a depression. We'll find out. I mean, we're all going to be along for the ride. But if prices and values do go down, you're going to want to be able to buy irregardless, if it's short or long. Even if you have, if you got a short horizon, you might need to stretch that out, and say, hey, look, we're doing this on a 5-year. We're looking at a 5-year hold on this, because you will be able to get a deep discount. This isn't like Grant has a 10-year window because he was buying at the top of the market. So he just bought all that real estate at the very peak of the market. Like everything that he closed on last summer was peak market. 3 cap, peak market. People could criticize Grant all day long. The one deal I know about is the Houston Heights deal, and he bought that at $1,600 a month rent with the expectation of getting it to $1,800 a month rent. Those are 3 2s with a pool at the Heights, right? I don't know what the square footage on the units are. But now
what do you pay, like $250 a door?
Yeah, something like that. Now, a $250,000 house is going to cost $2,400 a month in Houston for a mortgage, or I can go rent this experience and not have to worry about it. He's probably going to get $2,200 a month rent. Now, if that cap rate goes from a 3, where at $2,200 a month rent, where can that cap rate go to? Can it go to a 5 and the value still be there for what he paid for it at $2,300 a month rent? You see how that math is?
I never thought about that, but that makes sense.
So
like before you're drawn out on a deal like that,
before you lost all your equity, right? Before you're upside down. So the dynamic that he's playing is he bought at a 3 cap, he bought at a 4 cap, right? If the market returns to a 6 or 7 cap, which I don't see that asset going to that, but if it did try to go to that, right? How much extra income would that property have to produce, and what's the likelihood that he gets it? So I assume that a lot of that stuff that he bought at peak market last year, he's going to be a lot more aggressive on the rent raise, and I assume that he'll get it simply because the $200,000 starter home in America is going to cost you $2,500 a month, and a lot of people ain't going to want to pay that for home ownership. They look at home ownership as a discount, as wealth building, as all these other things. They don't look at it like, oh, let me go pay $2,400 a month and not have a pool, when I can rent over here, have a pool, a coffee shop, a gym membership, and all the amenities, and just wait this out over here in this apartment. And then when interest rates go back down, then I'll go find me a house for $1,800 a month. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but
I am curious to see if that perspective does shift as the market keeps doing what it's doing,
Oh, it's, yeah.
Like, at what point do people start getting on that boat? Like, it is cheaper to rent.
They're already there. They got no choice. Probably the debt to income ratio probably will keep most people out of the marketplace right now. Probably wiped out a bunch of people's opportunity to become homeowners, forced them into rental status for an extended period of time. So, guys, if you're not following us on Roughnecks Real Estate YouTube, please go to the YouTube. I'm going to do some events here pretty soon. I don't know when, so keep an eye on roughnecksrealestate.com. Braxton, where can people find you?
I don't know. You can email me.
Oh, he's not going to throw his social out there.
Well, I mean, my Instagram handle, Real Braxton Harrison.
Real REA.
Yeah, REAL.
Yeah.
Like our president or former president had his. Like, that's a good idea.
Solid.
People won't confuse me with the fake.
The fake Braxton Harrison?
Yeah.
Like fake news?
Yeah.
We probably just got banned on the TikToks for saying that. Anyways, appreciate y'all's time, but go to the Roughneck Real Estate YouTube, guys. We're going to get out of here. We will be dropping more podcasts on the Roughneck Real Estate YouTube. We talk about real estate briefly in there, but we mainly talk about life and love and happiness, and Spoon's affinity for chickens and
cows.
Yeah. We
had good content in the truck yesterday.
We did have some good content in the truck. What were we talking about? Oh, Yeah, we can't mention that on the Roughneck on the real estate podcast. So you have to go check out the Different Generations podcast to get that. But anyways, we'll deuce out. So he'll go ahead and end this broadcast, and I'm going to